infrastructural project management and control as to how the SPVs are created, how the PPP projects are required to be undertaken by Government of India so that the investment in infrastructure projects can be encouraged. Now we will be talking about as to how the financing of the total assets which are to be created in a SPV will be done. Now the financial resources for a SPV or PPP are to be organized. How it will be done? Depending upon the equity holding and the shareholding pattern of the SPV, we would say that the financial resources from different sources, either from FCCBs or from ECBs or from foreign line of credit or from the Indian financial institutions or from the equity holders, whether we are going for a right issue if a existing company is there or we are going for a IPO. The point is as to how to reduce the cost of capital of my company or my SPV so that the SPV remains economically viable, technically feasible and economically viable. So the borrowing capacity of the firm will be a determinant. The borrowing capacity of the firm is every SPV, every firm on the basis of the capital structure of the company will have a borrowing capacity. Like we discussed, that equity debt ratio, or you have done an EBIT EPS analysis. You have done an EBIT EPS analysis and you have decided that the capital structure or the equity debt ratio, which is the optimum equity debt ratio, is 1:2. But you may not get a equity debt ratio of 1:2 from the financial institutions who are ready to finance. You might get 1:3 debt equity ratio because they are not ready to give you a higher debt in respect to your equity, and the equity debt ratio that the financial institutions will be able to give you or would be willing to give you will be dependent upon your borrowing capacity. So every company, like you are analyzing the capital structure of any company or you are advised to give a comment as to what is the capital structure of the company and what should be the capital structure of the company. The companies would like to have a capital structure which may not be the optimum capital structure or the ideal capital structure, because the companies would like to keep both their options open. I want that I should have an exposure in the equity market. If I have rewarded my shareholders well, if I have given them dividends, the capital, the price of the stock of the company has given them enough capital appreciation, the investors of the company are happy, then I can raise any amount of money from the equity holders at any moment of time. If there is a point of distress, like we had a point of distress for last 1.5 years, that the financial institution and banks were not willing to give loan to the projects. The large cap companies are not willing to take money from the banks, and the banks are not ready to give loan to the small and medium scale industries. So the banks have a large capital base. They are putting their money in the government securities. Whatever SLR is required to be kept with the banks, they are keeping more money with the SLR because they are flushed with funds. The deposit rates are going up, the disbursement rates are going down. So the point is, I as a company, I want to keep both my options open, that whenever I need to raise funds from the equity market, the debt market is bad, I can raise funds from the equity market. And if the equity market is bad, like 1.5 years, the equity market was also bad and debt market also was bad. The banks and financial institutions did not have the confidence on the borrowers, and the equity market was also bad because you could not raise funds of the capital market. So the point is, if that situation comes when the capital market is in good position, then I will be able to raise funds from the financial institution. So I am going for a equity debt ratio just with a particular point of view that I should have both the options open. I should be able to raise funds from the equity market. I should be able to raise funds from the debt market. Like what happened in Hindalco case, that I told you what happened in Hindalco case, that suppose the company wanted to come with a right issue. And the right issue they would like to come because suppose the stock of a particular company is at 200 rupees. Now I don't want to go for a new fund offer. I want to reward I want to give the shares, additional shares to my existing shareholders, and I want to raise funds through the right issue. And I have said that because the stock price of the company is 200 rupees, I will offer the stock at 150 rupees to the existing shareholders, and they will subscribe because they will purchase the stock at 150 rupees and the market price is 200 rupees, so they will have appreciation. But what happens is that till the right issue comes, the stock prices go down from 200 rupees to 120 rupees. Now obviously the right issue will fall because nobody will like to take a right issue at 150 rupees when the prevailing market price of the stock is 125 rupees, so the right issue will fall. So I have to keep the borrowing capacity and my line of communications open with all the sources of finance. Sources of finance, when the financial institution and banks, if I have taken loan, I have serviced the loans, I have given the interest and principal on time, so the bank and financial institutions are happy with me. I have taken money from the equity market, I have taken money from the bondholders, I have taken money through debentures, I have taken money foreign currency loan from the foreign line of credit or from the foreign banks. If I have serviced their loans, my borrowing capacity is decided. So every company's borrowing capacity will be determined and decided by the credentials and the past trend. The fund's ability to generate internal funds. We were discussing with certain students that what is the cheapest source of finance? Internal accruals. You have cash surpluses, you have created surpluses which you have not declared, which you have not distributed as dividend. So you have surpluses. That is the cheapest source of finance. Because if you want to go for a capacity expansion, you want to go for a capex, and if you want to raise funds from debt, that there is a cost of raising funds through debt. Whether it is 2% or 2.5%, there is a cost. And if the company is incurring a cost of 2% for raising debt, the shareholders of the company are affected. If you are raising funds through equity, if you are raising funds through IPO like we discussed of Adani Power or we discussed NHPC, what is the cost of raising equity through IPO? If you are raising 100 crores, it will be costing around 10 crores. Because you have to have so much of fees, you have to give to the lead managers, the merchant bankers, the advertisers, the printers, the bankers of the issue, the advertising. You will have to go to different countries, different towns, printing, so prospectus will have to be made, listing agreement, you have to give the listing fees. So the cost of raising funds will be around 7-8 crores or 10 crores. The larger issues it will be 7-8%, the smaller issues it will be 12 to 13%. So the point is that if the company has internal accruals or cash accruals, that will be the cheapest source of finance. So I have to find out, in addition to the optimum capital structure equity debt ratio, as to what will be the cost of raising funds, and to keep my line of communication open with all the sources of finance, I will decide a capital structure which will be suitable to me. Fine. I have to know as to what is the organizational resources, because every organization, every SPV, every project that has been created is unique in nature. Because we started this IPMC classes with a concept that the project is different. Every project is different. Every project is different in spite of the fact that the capacity of the two projects are same. The capacity is same, the industry is same, the product to be manufactured is same, the product mix is same. But in spite of all these things, the total two projects are different. Because the culture is different, the location is different, The people who are working in that organization is different, the ages are different, the demographic characteristics of the people and the culture is different. So the two projects are not entirely identical. So we have to decide as to what type of organizational structure, whether it is line and staff functional organization or it's a divisional organization or it's a matrix organization, as to what type of organizational structure will be required to be formulated for a particular type of project. It will be different, it will be dependent upon the need of the project, the demographic characteristics and the cultural requirements of the project, what will be the reporting system, what type of planning, controlling and coordinating systems will be required with respect to as to what is the sphere and what is the coverage and what is the spread of the company. Now, the company might decide, a company like DCM Shriram Consolidated Limited, having 9 projects, having a project of fertilizers, having a project of PVC, having a project of polystyrene, having a project of sugar. Now, whether we have to have an organizational structure where the top management is looking after all the projects, the same management is looking after all the projects, or we have a structure where the divisional, organizational or the strategic business unit concept is to be adopted, whether the GM of different fertilizer unit or a polystyrene unit or different units are looking after their functions, what is the total capacity and what is the total resources which are involved. So depending upon the optimum utilization of the competence and the coverage and the supervision of the officers that will be looking after that particular organization, we will decide as to what type of organizational structure will be required. Is it clear, or we have not been able to? You can ask question if the things are not clear. Clear? नहीं भाई देखिए, सीधी सी बात है, फुटबॉल के मैच में आपको अपना जो अरेंजमेंट है, whether it will be 5-4-3-2-1 or it will be 5-5-3-2-1, the organizational structure will have to be determined. Suppose in this particular class there are 200 students. It will be a chaos. One teacher will not be able to deliver, will not be able to control the class of 200. Suppose there are only 10 students, it will again be economics of scale would not work, because so there is an optimum size of class. Optimum size of class is 60 or 65. Similarly, in an organization, when a managing director or a GM or a chief executive officer is looking after a function where 15,000 employees are working, it's very difficult to supervise. So what you can do? You can have a line and staff functional organizational structure that you used to have in a traditional way, or you can create divisions. That I will have divisions, I can have a geographical segmentation, I can have a product differentiation, that I can say that I will discriminate the organizational structure on the basis of the markets. Fertilizer will be sold differently at different places, the distributors will be different. But if it's a consumer product which is on the shelf of it's a FMCG product which is in the shelf of the dealers and the shopkeepers, my strategy might be different. I might say that I will discriminate on the basis of product, I will discriminate on the basis of geographical reasoning. So the point is that on the basis of the characteristics of the product I am dealing in, the type of industries, the type of consumers, the type of competences which are required to be there in my sales officer and sales representatives, I will choose a particular organizational structure which is suitable for that type of organization. Is it fine? Now, physical resources, sophistication and location of firms, plant and equipment, access to raw material. Like we said that every decision that the company has to take, location of the unit with respect to the availability and the sourcing of the raw material, the ability of the company to sell its production to the distribution channels or the dealers channels, to the markets where the consumers are there, the location of the market, So I have to locate my unit on the basis of that. Suppose I have to put up a unit of 10,000 tons a day. Whether I should have a single unit of 10,000 tons a day in Narsinghpur in Madhya Pradesh, which is the location, the central point of India, or should I have 200 tons per day unit in 5 different parts? How the economics of scale will work, how the raw material sourcing to these 5 units will work, whether I have 1 unit or 5 units. So these all decisions are strategic decisions, particular, specific to the company and the location that I have to decide. I have to decide whether I should have to locate my unit nearer to the high tension lines like 11 kV or 132 kV, whether I should be nearer to the sliding railway stations or the rail head has to be nearer to me. Everything will be decided on the basis of the particular demographic characteristics and the product and the industry which I am dealing in. Different industries, different products will be entirely different. Stock of technology such as patents, trademarks, copyrights and trade secrets, dependent on that as to what are the technical know-how requirements, where the technical know-how is, who has patents, who are the know-hows, how all these things will be organized, whether the training will be provided by the foreign collaborator, their trainers will come here in my country and train my staff here, or my people will be going there and get the technical know-how there. All these things will be required to be undertaken. Now I have to plan my resources. I have to plan my resources on the basis of not only tangible assets, but also on the basis of intangible assets. What are the intangible resources? Human resources. Not, or you want to ask questions, or should we continue in this way? But it's better if you ask questions. Is it fine? Human resources, because see, the strategic direction, the organizational structure, the planning, the capacity utilization of the unit, all the strategic decisions will be dependent upon my availability and the quality of my financial resources, quality of my technical resources, my human resource that I have, the competence levels, the skills, my training and development requirements, everything will be dependent. Like we discussed in a bank, suppose my cost of raising funds is 7% and cost of raising fund or another bank is 11%. So obviously the total complexion of the capability and the credentials of the borrowers that these two banks can have will be different. So I cannot plan a strategy. I cannot focus or place myself in a situation where my cost of funding is higher. How can I reduce my cost of funding so my total strategies will be different? Now, scientific capacity, capacity to innovate, reputational resources, reputation with customer, brand name, perceptions of product quality. Like that day somebody was asking, as Kingfisher has mortgaged its brand name to raise funds. So how that can happen? What is the process of that mortgaging or pledging the brand name Kingfisher for raising a loan, say of 500 crores? How would it work? The issue is that I have a brand name, and because of this brand name, I am able to sell any new product in the market, because everybody feels that if I am Godrej, if I am Lipton, if I am Procter & Gamble or I am Kingfisher, the products offered by these companies who have a good reputation in the market, the product will be taken by the customers without any protest. So I know best to my capacity that whatever money I have raised, I will be able to repay. There will not be any default. So if there is not going to be a default, even if I am mortgaging or pledging my brand name with some person and taking a loan of 500 crores, he will be able to use this brand name only if I default. And that situation I know because of my cash flows and anticipated cash flows from my different functions, that situation will not arise. So I know that that mortgage that I have created will not be able to be used by the persons where I have used it. So I have taken a loan of 500 crores, mortgaging. I am either giving a collateral security or I am mortgaging a property with some lender or I am mortgaging my brand name. The issue is that I have been able to raise funds through that mortgaging and money has been organized. Rare capabilities are capabilities that few any competitors possess, like the core competence, like the entry barriers and the exit barriers. The entry barrier is because I have a technical core competence which my competitors don't have. I will be able to survive in a particular industrial environment if the capacity and the technical capability which I have cannot be replaced by somebody else. I have been able to generate that type of capability because I am in that particular industry for last 20 years. I have been able to do that. Now suppose I go for diversification. I go for internal diversification or external diversification. What is the difference between internal diversification and external diversification? What is organic diversification, inorganic diversification? पता नहीं है या बताना नहीं चाहते? Fine. So internal diversification is because whatever core competences or the marketing network or the technical capabilities I have been able to develop, I am trying to diversify on that. So organic growth is that there is a tree and the branches are going out, so it's a organic growth. Inorganic growth is when I am taking the capabilities which somebody else has developed. So I am trying to take that particular capability and I am trying to diversify. So it's either a internal diversification or external diversification. It's a concentric diversification or conglomerate diversification. It's a backward linkage or forward linkages. I am going for a backward linkage that I want to economize. What is a backward linkage? Fine. Non-substitutable capabilities that do not have strategic equivalents. So I have certain capabilities which I know my competitors will not be able to have. So they are no substitute. They will not be able to create that. These things we have discussed. These concepts are clear. Bridge loan is fine. FCCB is fine. Bridge loan is fine. What is a bridge loan? एक मिनट हाँ fine. If the project is not technically feasible and economically viable, then banks would not give any type of project. So I am sanctioning a loan. As a bank, I am sanctioning a loan. But when I am sanctioning a loan, there are pre-disbursement conditions. And the certain approvals you have to take. Power connection you have to take, pollution control board clearance you have to take environmental clearances, you have to take clearances for cutting the trees, all these permissions have to be taken. But suppose certain conditions are not fulfilled by the borrower, then I as a banker, because I told the borrower that the total project cost is 100 crores, you bring in 40 crores, I will give you a loan of 60 crores. Now he has got in 40 crores. And there is a condition which I know he will get approval. because of certain unavoidable circumstances, he was not able to get that condition fulfilled. So in the meantime, I am giving a bridge loan, which will remain a bridge loan till it is converted into a term loan. Ultimately, it will be converted into a term loan, and I am charging a higher interest on that. FCCB is foreign currency convertible bonds. So I am issuing a foreign currency convertible bond if I am an Indian company. I am raising funds from America or Europe. I am giving a commitment to the subscriber to my foreign currency convertible bond that the foreign currency convertible bond, you will get a coupon rate of say 2.5% for next 5 years, for first 5 years. So it will remain a debenture, it will remain a debt instrument, and after 5 years it will be converted into equity, and then whatever is the prevailing price and whatever is the price finding mechanism of that particular stock, we will do it. Mezzanine capital, we had discussed. Subordinate debts, underwriters, red herring prospectus, these things we have discussed. Now, see, this subordinate debt is that when there are debts, when there is a liquidation of the company, suppose there is a liquidation of the company, then the priority of the debts or equity or different type of financial instruments will be different. The priorities will be decided. Now suppose you are the liquidator. You are undertaking the process of liquidation of the company. Now sales department says that sales tax dues on the company are the first priority. Government of India says it is the first priority. The employees say the employee's salary and wages is the first priority. The secured creditors, the financial institutions who have created a charge on the fixed assets of the company, and the charge has been filed with registrar of company, they will say I have a higher priority. Excise department will say my priority is first. Power department, the electricity board will say that I have a due of 30 lakhs to be recovered from the assets of the company. So as a liquidator, how do you decide as to who has a priority? So the point is, if you have to decide the priority in debts, there will be priority in debts. So there will be superior debts, there will be subordinate debts. Superior debts, you will be able to claim the charge from the fixed assets of the company. So you will be a superior debt holder, and after the finalization of that particular charge or fulfillment of that particular charge, then the chance of the subordinate debt holder will come. First or second charge, secured debt or unsecured debt, or type of collateral security. Somebody has charge only on the primary security. Somebody has a charge. Suppose I am a creditor or I am a lender who has only charge on the primary assets. Primary asset means that the factory has been set up, the project has been set up, and like non-recourse financing. Non-recourse financing, that infrastructural project, I have given loan, and my loans can be recovered only from the cash flow of that particular project. So non-recourse. But somebody else has acted smarter, and he said that he is a superior holder because he will get the recovery from the cash flows of this particular company also, and they will have a collateral security or a different personal guarantee or something. So their things will be different. It will be superior because they will be able to recover their loans on a harder level. I would not say that subordinate debts or mezzanine capital would be getting a higher interest. No, fine. But the point is that suppose I'm a secured creditor, and you are an unsecured creditor. Fine, your point of view is fine. And I say that in the capital structure of 100 crores, 40 crores will be required as equity and 60 crores will be given as debt. I am a secured creditor, I have given a loan of 60 crores. Fine. You have to raise 40 crores. But you don't have 40 crores. You have only 30 crores. And you are an equity holder, you are the shareholder. Now what you say is that I will go to my friends and relatives and I will be able to raise unsecured loans. But I say if they are unsecured loans, then I will have a covenant as a lender of 60 crores. That this 10 crores cannot be repaid till pendency of my loan. Is it clear? नहीं, 100 करोड़ का प्रोजेक्ट है. 100 करोड़ के प्रोजेक्ट में मैं बैंकर हूं, मैं फाइनेंशियल इंस्टीट्यूशन हूं, मैंने 60 करोड़ का लोन दिया और ये 60 करोड़ का लोन जो है ये सिक्योर्ड लोन. आपको 40 करोड़ लगाने हैं, आपके पास 40 करोड़ नहीं है. आप ये कह रहे हैं कि मेरे पास 30 करोड़ रुपए हैं जो मैं इक्विटी में लगा सकता हूं, लेकिन 10 करोड़ रुपए मैं अपने फ्रेंड्स एंड रिलेटिव से ले आऊंगा. ठीक. अब ये 10 करोड़ तो ले आऊंगा, अगर मैं इसको सिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर मान लूं तो मानी माने 4 शेयर होगा. मैंने जो 60 करोड़ दिया और जो 10 करोड़ अपने फ्रेंड एंड रिलेटिव से आप सिक्योर्ड लेके आए तो 70 करोड़ का डेट हो गया और 30 करोड़ की इक्विटी हो गई, तो इक्विटी डेट रेशियो 1:1.5 नहीं रहा. तो ये कैपिटल स्ट्रक्चर मुझे स्वीकार्य नहीं. तो मैं आपसे ये कहता हूं कि ये जो 40 करोड़ हैं ये आपको ऐसे इंस्ट्रूमेंट में लाने हैं जो इक्विटी हो या इक्विटी लाइक हो. तो मैं कोवेनेंट लगाऊंगा, कोवेनेंट के माध्यम प्री कंडीशन लगाऊंगा कि 10 करोड़ के जो अनसिक्योर्ड लोन्स आप लेके आएंगे, ये अनसिक्योर्ड लोन्स तब तक रिपे नहीं होंगे जब तक कि मेरा लोन पेंडेंसी में रहेगा. अगर 10 साल तक मेरा, तो मैं प्री कंडीशन लगा दूंगा कि ये अनसिक्योर्ड लोन्स आपकी बैलेंस शीट में, बुक्स अकाउंट्स में तब तक रहेंगे जब तक कि मेरा लोन पेंडेंसी में है. जब मेरा लोन खत्म हो जाए उसके बाद चाहे तो आप ये वापस कर दें, तब तक ये वापस नहीं कर पाएंगे, बिकॉज इट हैज टू बी इक्विटी लाइक फाइनेंशियल इंस्ट्रूमेंट. इक्विटी एक बार आ गई, इक्विटी विड्रॉ नहीं हो सकती. इक्विटी आप बेच सकते हैं पर इक्विटी खत्म नहीं होगी. दूसरी बात, मैं ये प्री कंडीशन लगाऊंगा ना केवल अनसिक्योर्ड लोन्स पे, बल्कि जो भी कंपनी फर्दर लोन रेज करेगी फ्यूचर में भी, कि जब आप इंटरेस्ट रेट डिटरमिन करेंगे या इसमें चार्ज क्रिएट करेंगे तो आप मेरी प्री परमिशन लेंगे. ये कोवेनेंट होगा, क्योंकि मैं आपको अलाउ नहीं कर सकता कि आप मुझे 12% इंटरेस्ट दें और अपने फैमिली फ्रेंड्स को 16% इंटरेस्ट दें. नहीं. तो एज ए सिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर इट इज माई प्राइमरी फेसाई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी एंड अथॉरिटी, and I will exercise that by covenant, that you will not be able to give, or any loan that you raise from the market, the interest rates will be decided by me. It will be done, the board can do it, but they will take prior permission. When you declare the dividend also you will take my permission, because I don't want a cash flow from the company which is detrimental to the payment of principal and interest to the primary lender who I am. Is it fine? वो ठीक है आपका कि अनसिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर जो है वो कहेगा कि मुझे हायर इंटरेस्ट रेट दो, लेकिन ये तो सिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर के कोवेनेंट हैं जो इसको इस बात से रोकेंगे. वरना तो आप क्या करेंगे कि मुझे आप 12% का इंटरेस्ट देंगे और अनसिक्योर्ड लोन आप 30% वो उठा लेंगे, और जब मैं आपके रिपेमेंट के पास जाऊंगा कि मेरे को पैसा दीजिए तो आप कहेंगे साहब 30% का लोन उनको मैंने दे दिया, उनका इंटरेस्ट पे कर दिया, आपका इंटरेस्ट में पे नहीं कर पाऊंगा क्योंकि कैश फ्लो की ये पोजीशन नहीं है. तो आई विल हैव कोवेनेंट्स. फाइन. एनी अदर क्वेश्चन? Generation of idea, did we discuss? No.